right, hello and welcome, my friends. As usual, it's Habage here, sort of unexpectedly, but as I said, vacation time. If I get a few little windows, I'm going to drop in, say hey, see what y'all are up to, let you know what I'm up to. Basically, just get a quick little hangout in, keep the world a little bit fresh in mind. Today and tomorrow are the best chances of that. We're going to do about an hour today. I don't have endless time. Having too much fun hanging out with my folks. They're in town, and we're seeing everything. It feels like it sometimes, but it's pretty good. So, hope you'll hang out here for the next hour or so. We will uh, basically hang out around the base and farm. See what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the stream, but it is not at all my current session. What's up with that? All right, let's go to random other stream. Oh, TV volume's on too. Now back to my channel. That looks like us. All right. And I can tell by my voice we are pretty close on the deck. All right. Sorry about that. That was definitely a TV thing, not a stream thing. So, hey, how's everybody doing? Are you hanging out, having a good second weekend of July? I know I am. It has been great getting out and around. We have nighttime here, so let's just kick things off with a quick nap. This will be the napping stream. We'll just wake up, stand around, nap some more. No, we won't be quite that boring, but no guarantees we're doing a whole lot more than that. We'll probably check in on our crops a bit. Those that we do have, we're going to chop down a bunch of trees. If we get done with all of that project, then we'll move on to moving some dirt. But there's basically just enough time to hang out, kind of get into the world here. Wow, excuse my hiccups. Just had some grapes and first sip of coffee. So one of those two got me hiccuping. But yeah, as we laid out the other day, we've got our kind of future farm perimeter here with a couple of cuts and some holes and the space in between. We're trying to take out all the trees uh, in between all these so that we can. Oh, shoot. That wasn't good. So that we can have room to farm, right? Do our thing. All right. I see no tree trunk in that. That's a leftover. We definitely have one here. Right. Is that it? What is this guy? Before we get too far, um, I want to jump over to some of these taller trees around the area. So we don't lose the advantage of our leaves. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3 trees right in here, and that was the third. If we can get over and do a couple of those, would be great. Ah, can't. What? That wasn't the difficult part, was it? All right. So let's do the remote stuff first. Oh, look at all this. Good stuff here. So yes, Saturday, right? It's oh no, oh man, it is. I'm just in full vacation mode, but it's it's been a great one so far. Lots and lots and lots of car time, but not a lot of times for when you think road trip, it's like, oh, okay, where you going to, right? So far, we haven't started the going to part. We've been in the hey, let's take this rental car and let's see a bunch of Colorado, and we're going to continue that again today. Um, of course, the impetus for this is my folks are in town, and then we are going to go up and hang out with my sister and all of her family starting on Monday. But they flew in on Thursday, and we did um, the town of Boulder, which is kind of up the road from where I'm at, and uh, it's kind of they got in kind of mid afternoon, and it was stormy that day, so um, there was a little bit of dodging the rain as we drove through. But then we kind of toured around. One of my mom's good childhood friends had lived in Boulder for a long time. Of course, that's where I went to school. So um, they uh, they knew of the town from when I was primarily in school and a lot of later visits too. They've enjoyed coming out here. And as I've mentioned to some of the folks in either YouTubes or streams or whatever, when I was going off to college, my sister ended up coming out here. Actually, my more significant to that, my future brother-in-law came out to Colorado for grad school. Not at the same place, but he was going to grad school. I was starting undergraduate, and my sister, who I think they both were very interested in continuing their college romance, which now they've been married and raised raised some high school graduates and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it worked out. They did very well. Um, they both ended up out here as well. And at the time, I was like, dude, are you serious? Like this is my adventure. This is I'm a man now. I'm going off to school. I don't want you guys cramping my style. It couldn't have been better. Um, because they were, as I reinforced today, it's a bit of a drive to get up to the area where she was at, um, and it was um, not something where they were here checking up on me or anything like that. They were just living their lives, and it was nice as a young kid out on his own and a long way from home to have a little presence that wasn't right there, but could I think like first Thanksgiving or whatever that I was out here, I didn't go back home, and they came down and met up with me, took me out to dinner, and so those kinds of things were really really cool to have them around for. Um, but anyway, with two kids out in this area, my folks ended up coming out even more than they might have initially thought. Um, so we all kind of got some memories from that era. And then my sister and her husband, once my husband was done with his post grad school, they moved off. He got his job. They settled down back in the Midwest. And because of her job here, we spent a lot of time up in Estes Park. She had friends and connections and all that kind of stuff. So we'd come back out to stay in that area for family get-togethers. My brother-in-law would sometimes do summer teaching with a few students on like a I don't know, kind of like a summer uh, out of the classroom trip type deal. So the students would come with him in a van. There'd be maybe two vans dozen kids or whatever. I don't know. Maybe not quite that many. And I was, of course, out here working and doing all that stuff. So I'd come up and meet them. And so we spent a lot of time up in the Estes Park area of Colorado. Um, every wasn't every year or anything, but every couple, every 3 years or so, they'd come back out. We'd a lot of times my parents would go like, oh yeah, we want to come out at that same time, and so we'd all get a cabin together and hang out. I'd shoot up and visit them up there as well. It was a blast. So lots of cool memories. Well, so on Thursday of this week, when my folks got in, we went up and basically, after getting them settled in, they're in a hotel just down the street from me because I don't have enough space for most. A few people have like crashed a night on a couch. It's not a long enough couch, even for one. It doesn't pull out or anything, and certainly for my parents, I just don't have the space to have them stay with me comfortably. But I've had them in here in the evenings and stuff like that. It's been great letting them see again where I live and um, how I've got everything set up and all that. They'd been out here right after I moved into this place, but that's been cool. But yeah, we did Boulder. It's really nice, and then I kind of, I knew, hey, we're gonna see a bunch of Colorado while you're here. It's something we've always done together. They're happy enough. Although I keep saying, hey, if this is too much, too much time sitting in the car riding all that kind of stuff, we'll take a break. But they want to see it while they're out here, right? If weather's nice and all that, they don't want to sit inside. Like we're in the mountains and all that. Let's enjoy it. So. Um, Yesterday, well, Thursday night, we went out. We didn't really know, but we were in Boulder, and they've got a walking mall kind of in the downtown area. And I said, well, let's just go down and see if we can pop into a place for dinner. Should be fun. And we were walking along, and there was, everybody's got their COVID tents and things up out into the streets and all that. And we were walking by one of my favorite places. Had a tent out like that. Had a couple empty picnic tables. We said, "Hey, is there any kind of a wait or anything like that? Can you guys seat us?" She said, "Oh, you want one of those tables?" And we're like, "Actually, yeah. We want to sit outside. It's so nice." They set us right up. Had some great barbecue stuff that first night. And while we're sitting there, I was like, it would be really fun um, if we went over the road in Rocky Mountain National Park, which is one of the big national parks in the country, one of the most highly visited. It's nowhere near the Grand Canyon, but kind of right on that next tier. There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, Glacier. All the glaciers kind of further away from a major population center than some of the others, but well, Yellowstone is a ways out there too. But those two kind of go hand in hand, right? They're both fairly fairly close. I say that relatively. It's the West. Everything's spread out quite a bit, but northwestern corner of Wyoming and a little bit of Montana, and Glacier is all in Montana. So they're they're not too far away to do on a single family road trip. But Rocky Mountain, has the Denver area close to it and is easily accessible. Um, uh, Yosemite, you can either out of um, kind of the Reno type area in Nevada, or you can go up from the Bay Area in, wow, I'm just hitting everything with the sax, in California. So those are very accessible, and of course, Grand Canyon going either from Phoenix or Las Vegas. Those are all, you know, you don't have to just drive for a day just to get there. A lot of people do and stay out, but it's a couple of hours as long as you get stuck in ridiculous traffic. So our plan was, all right, Rocky Mountain National Park. That's right what we were next to in all those years when we had like a family cabin or whatever that we rented and stayed up in the mountains. So let's kind of do that. We'll get up above tree line. It's supposed to be a nice day and all that. Yeah, pandemic. Um, in 2020, while we were in the pandemic, the park system said, "Hey, some of our busiest parks, we're going to go ahead and start trying a timed entry kind of reservation system." What that means is from let's say 9 to 11. It didn't work out, but so I don't know all of it super closely, but um, from like 9 to 11, you get 500 vehicles can enter the park during that day, and it's something that, having spent a lot of time in Rocky Mountain National Park, I understand. It was so crowded, and there were so many people coming in that they were smart to do it. Hey, Troy, what's up, man? Um, See you there. So yeah, they set up a system during the pandemic, and I didn't even think about it, but it was, you've got to uh, go either weeks and months in advance, or um, at 5 o'clock the day before they release another few hundred entry passes, like 20% of their total, for the next day. So there is some short term, if you're in my case. Unfortunately, we came up with this brilliant scheme about 7 o'clock at night while we were eating dinner. And the next morning, as I'm like, I wonder what, like, what's the drive time? Is there any new updates? I'm checking online as I'm looking at some stuff. What do we want to do? And I saw all this and was like, oh, they did do that, didn't they? Oops. So no getting in, but we rolled with it. It was really turned out to be just an awesome day. Anyway, we did a morning kind of drive straight west from where I live, um, which goes up into the foothills, right? Because mountains are behind Denver to the west, and then you go all the way up pretty quickly to the Continental Divide. So the big snow cap, no tree above tree line mountains, right? Like just like Minecraft mountains up there. Um, but you don't always have those, and the land has to get up to those. So in uh, my case, there's a lot of rolling forest hills that are getting higher and higher and higher as you go, and by hills we're talking being around 5,500 to 5,700 feet or so. Again, Denver's the mile high city. That's 5,420 is a mile above sea level. So that's relatively what we're all at here, about 5,500 feet in the suburbs and all that kind of stuff. And you go up into the foothills, and those go anywhere from 7 to 9, 10,000 feet in the stuff that we were in, and got up. Um, so we were looking at some just staggeringly good views of the mountains and all that kind of stuff, because we're so spoiled here getting to do all those drives is there. Hey, yeah, no worries, Troy. Appreciate you so much dropping by. You're awesome. Um, the rest of the time we have well, we went up into the foothills. Maybe a 2 hour drive or something in the morning, and we turned and went down through the couple of towns that have big casinos, um, or that kind of development, and that's not really my deal. I mean, I'm going to Vegas for a draft in August for fantasy football, And I've certainly played some blackjack and some of that kind of stuff, but I'm not. If you're like, hey, what do you want to do for a vacation? I think you guys can hear it. I'm just as happy to just go driving around and see the country um, as stare at a slot machine or something like that. Sounds just kind of miserable. So um, we didn't linger, but they got to see that again. And I think I'd taken them through once before, but went all the way down to the interstate, but then turned and went down towards Denver. Got a little bit of lunch back at my place, and then we went up to the mountain town Estes Park that we had initially planned to end at because I'd made a reservation because it was my parents' 55th wedding anniversary. Yep, that's right. I'm sort of old, not that old, right? Because I'm younger and a younger child of theirs. But yeah, it was certainly a special occasion, and we went to a restaurant that was like a long, long favorite of ours. And I'm going to shout it out here. Not that you guys will ever be out here, but if you ever do find yourselves in Estes Park, Colorado, do yourself a favor, go check out for kind of a nice meal, a nicer meal, a place called the Dunraven Inn. Um, it is so cool, and they moved over the pandemic, which was another part of the kind of, oh, hey, all right, we're catching back up here. They had been in kind of like this riverside cabin building, which was cool and had tons of personality, and was fun everywhere, and everybody knew what it was. Well, as I was looking for reservation stuff, I was like, oh, different spot, and they moved into a nice big place in a newer resort. I don't know how old the resort is, but it's right on Lake Estes, and you look out across the lake. And I called up, I kind of hyped it a little bit. I was like, hey, I've got my family in town here. We've long been fans of your restaurant, really enjoy it, and if there's any way to get us in kind of short notice, that would be awesome. And then as an end, I said, now I don't know. I know it's Friday. It's Friday morning. I'm reserving this the same day, and I was like, I don't know if you can do anything to help me out, but I want to ask anyway. It's my parents' anniversary, kind of a celebration. Is there any way you can put us at a table by the windows? It looks like you guys have an awesome view. It would be really cool. Like, well, I can't promise you anything. It's the day of, after all. But the lady, and this is like at 8 o'clock in the morning, the lady's like, I'll put a note on there and I'll let them know. And if they can work it out, we'll do what we can. And it was so, we got there, it was just starting to rain because in the mountains, you have a good chance of getting an afternoon, evening sprinkle, right? But we were up there a little bit early. We walked around town. We kind of drove around, saw all the old familiar sights and that kind of stuff, some of the areas where we stayed and um, those good things. Here's our horses, by the way. I'm sorry, Troy. Troy was kind of doing a drive-by, but Skeller Troy is our first skeleton horse, and then we got unnamed second skeleton horse because for one thing we didn't have another name tag. But there we go. We got two awesome horses and fewer trees now. Let's just combine these axes and keep chopping here. Like I said, any chances that I get to hang out, we'll do this kind of stuff over the next couple days. We won't be going on the big exploration stuff because we really need a few hours there to gear up, get where we're going, and get back again. When you're playing your games, if you're in a world that you've had for a long time and hey, I've got a busy week coming up. I'm just going to come and visit my Minecraft world. Um, don't make that the moment when you get like 20,000 blocks away um, without making some kind of an arrangement because it can be tough to get all the way back or find the route. You can get frustrated, and I've certainly had worlds that I've just been like, you know what, I'm just going to start over. I can't easily get back to my base. So in my situation, where we're a little bit, um, a little bit of just a visit and some shorter episodes. We're just gonna enjoy this time that we do have. I don't want to fall, but I'm also wondering if I can. We'll go back around through those trees, I think. Um, Make the most of it here. So, and we don't have to take these all the way down. Just, uh, just enough. All right, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, just down enough so that we can reach back up from the ground and get these blocks. All right, this is where we're gonna do our best work because if we can get out to these trees, the ground below. So these are actually some pretty big trees. Um, on their own, we just can't get back to them if these other trees start to decay. All right, so now, remember when we were so stuck under all those trees? All right, back around here, out to the far point. Ooh, almost got ugly. And then boom, 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 boom. Here, easily be able to get the rest of that. This one's already done. This was our tallest tree. And then we had those two. I think we'll be able to get back up there. So let's just take this and then we'll start over. And I'm going to be just fine with having these guys out of the way. This is where we were always getting stuck in the middle of this little section. Little Tangletown of trees. So yeah, got set up for a nice dinner reservation, and they crushed it. After we'd gotten up to the town, beautiful drive up. We kind of I showed them a little bit more of the area where I'm at, where some of my friends that they know have resettled to. Kind of because you talk to your parents, but when you live in a different city or state or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, we went here, we went to this place, and just by letting them have a little view, we don't have to go to every place, right? I'm not going to take them to every, it's a pizza place we hit a lot because it's really convenient and all that, but doesn't mean it's like, oh, it's so, you guys have to come here. We haven't been to this one. But I drove them around, showed them some of those kind of things that they could kind of have a better, like I said, better feel for some of the things that I do tell them about. Um, so that was kind of fun. And then we got up through a route I took to the town of Estes Park. There's two kind of main roads to get to Estes Park. One, um, really the most direct, is up the Big Thompson Canyon, which is the Big Thompson River. And for my parents, it's significant because before I was born, when my sister was just a little kid, they came out with my grandparents, and I stayed with a like a babysitter because I was too young. I was born, but just very, very, very small and young, and they were like, road trip, too much for this kid. We'll um, have you stay. Um, basically with a kind of a friend of the family, kind of daycare lady. She would do um, what basically we would know of as daycare these days in her house. Um, and I remember later, I don't remember that one too much, but later I remember that, if my mom had something going on during the day, she was mainly a stay at home mom, but I'd go over there and there were half dozen or so kids all at her place, and that was where I remember watching Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers and some of those kind of things. But she was awesome. She'd have us all do, kind of little fun, the dancing songs that got you a little exercise. We'd go on walks, do snacks for us and all that. Fun memories. Anyway, I stayed with that woman while my older sister and my parents and everybody were out in Colorado, and they came right after an event in Rocky Mountain National Park itself that had specifically ranging consequences, and that was the Thompson Canyon flood, and it happened way up in the park. A slab of rock, mountains are constantly eroding, right? Natural processes at work. Well, a piece of rock that over tens and thousands of millions or whatever of years had been weakening, and it let go, and there was a pond above it up on a mountain, mountain lake kind of deal, and it let go and it washed straight down a cliff, a full lake's worth of water all at once, washed down, carved out this gully, and made an alluvial fan in the park there, where everything spread out like the mouth of a river. But it did that in an instant. So it's this debris field that spreads out at the bottom of the creek. Well, then the water kept going, ran through the town of Estes out of Rocky Mountain National Park, and then drained from Lake Estes all the way down the Big Thompson Canyon, and it killed a bunch of people because this was a wall of water down a narrow little canyon. And for my parents, they came out and went up to Rocky Mountain National Park and drove up this canyon in the aftermath. And now, of course, it's beautiful and pristine. That was a long time ago. Um, but it's fun for them to see. And of course, that was my sister's commute for a big part of the time that after they'd been married and were living down the hill. That was her commute, driving up this beautiful canyon to get up to the part of Estes where she worked. So fun memories there, and just a beautiful drive. Even if you don't know anything about it, it is amazing. Tight little canyon at the bottom, steep, rock walls towering above you, and then it opens up a little bit. Get some little fishing shacks and all that kind of stuff right along the creek as you get up towards the town. Absolutely beautiful. So really, really good drive and fun. We got up into town. Like I said, drove around and saw some of our old stomping grounds, and did a walk through kind of the downtown area along the river first, and then back past some of the shops. Just poked our heads in while we were waiting for our reservation time. Had an amazing dinner, like I said, just as it started to rain, and they've got us at this awesome window side table. We're looking out over the lake, and beyond the lake are all the mountains, and it's pouring, but it's a sun shower because in the mountains, like any sun shower, you got a storm cloud right overhead, but the sun is starting to get close to setting out in the mountains. So um, beautiful, just the lake. Every single raindrop is hitting the water, and it's sparkling, and it was just dazzlingly awesome. And then the people, once it finished, people are wandering around. There's tons of activity outside, birds and nature and all that going by outside. Awesome food, and the servers, they're I recognized three of them from years past at the old place, and the woman that was taking care of us, I didn't particularly recognize her. She said she'd been there 16 years or something, which certainly covered our window of being there. And They were all so friendly, and I had told them it was my parents' anniversary, and like any place, she brought out a little spumante ice cream thing for them to share, and just really made it a wonderful night. So kudos to the staff and the cooks and everything, because the food was top notch at the Dunraven Inn. Go check it out if you're ever in Estes Park, Colorado. Uh, I've had lots of favorites up there. I've spent a lot of time in there. A lot of the other ones haven't made it through pandemic or just being a resort town. There's turnover in the restaurant business a lot. This is one that will likely be there whenever you get out there. So check it out. Look at how wide open we've got this so far. Now we still have a little bit of work to do here on this far end. We have to get up to our marker rock here, and certainly, we don't want some of these trees that are right on the line. But up in this area, we've gone far, so we just have this little corner left, really. But what we don't have here are great trees to get us pointed back the way we want to go. Let's just do this. This is going to be trouble tree. So I'll jump up. Jump up. A few of these. And then can get these couple left. Wherever they are. Probably get all these. So that means that my axe is sure to break before we get really done. I think this is the one that's probably going to be trouble. In trouble in the sense that I can't reach it from the ground all the way to the top. So you either have to build up or I don't know. You basically got to build up to chop it. All right, one more here. I don't want to go too far because I still want to be able to get the rest of this tree. All right, I think that does it pretty well in terms of getting these started. We may have a few stumps we have to clear out with a future axe, but there, there, here, that's just dirt. Oh, look at this. I think we have cleared our future farm area. So that's good. And don't you worry if I have um, future check-in videos during this particular vacation. We can set those up. So I think what we'll probably do is raise this corner up here so we don't have to do more digging. I don't know, although maybe we'll even do one more higher than that, so that everything comes up to this level. You can see that's kind of a toss-up. But filling in these will be using some of this hillside, and it means that we don't have to just endlessly dig all the rest of this as far down where each of these levels gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So thinking that's what we'll do in our dirt moving stream whenever we do that. We'll just drop down a bunch more stuff there. Um, and yeah, I hope for all of you watching because you guys are awesome and you deserve the very best. I hope you've had some beautiful opportunities to observe the world here in the last couple days that rival my own. Because even here, and you kind of when you're doing these kind of things, hours of riding around, and you run out of the words to, oh, hey, look at that mountain. That mountain is deliciously beautiful. Like you keep saying the same thing. Oh, look at that. That's spectacular. Things get rehashed quite a bit, but it's living here. A lot of people in Denver, you ride around, you talk to an Uber driver or whatever, just random people, and it's like, oh, you get up to the mountains much? You ski? Nah, I really don't go up. It's crowded, and I don't like to ski, and it's expensive to stay and all that. I know gas is expensive. I get that, but in terms of stuff that I know my folks and I will remember, it's cool, right? It's not sitting on a couch and trying to just come up with stuff to talk about. You've got the world going by the windows outside, and all that just kind of is inspiring and reminding us of lots of different memories of past trips and things that we've shared over the years. That it's fun to just, oh yeah, and at the same time we're making new memories. So I get it. Times aren't super cheap for me, right? We've all are dealing with inflation. Everything costs more, and gas is certainly just another part of that. But even so, with it being expensive to fill up the tank and basically just driving, you put that into, a tank of gas is no more than taking three people to a 2-hour movie, and we're spending a day in the car seeing stuff that's absolutely incredible that I just forget, like, oh, why would I go up that way, unless I happen to catch it on the way to camping or something like that. It's pretty cool. So no no real photos or anything out of my phone yet to share. Obviously, I've been doing all the driving and a lot of this stuff. I know. So um, nothing yet. Oh, but the last thing is after dinner last night, we're driving back home again because it's a I don't know hour and a half drive, and there was some stops for flagmen. Even though it was Friday night, um, they were stopping people on one of the other canyon road to get back down uh, to where I live after dinner. But there was this storm cloud up over the city. Is moving out from the mountains. It was probably what rained on us a little bit, and it was one of the coolest skies. And I'm driving, right? I'm hardly looking. My parents have their heads like just cranked out the windows to be looking up. And I guess the moon. I never saw the moon in relation to it because I'm driving down a turning, twisting canyon road at dusk and beyond, where wildlife is all over. I'm like, I'm not going to hit an elk or a deer if I can help it, and I got to stay on the road. So it sounds awesome. And every once in a while you turn back and forth and you get a big view. But started off just yellow, went through peach and pink, and layers of clouds when you're up in the mountains like that, where some are dark down below because they're shaded by the mountains or other clouds or whatever, and they get contrasted against these just amazing colors. And it was a huge storm cell that I don't think was doing much down here, but who knows, out east somewhere. And it had like different textures and layers. So good. And not one of those things you could ever be like, oh, I'm gonna go look at a storm cloud today. Even though I always, evenings and whatever, I love to step outside and just look at the sky and see, is there anything cool out there tonight. Um, this was a super winter, so really cool day. I hope there's more of that kind of fun stuff today or to come. Today we've got a fun little excursion planned. We're gonna kind of drive further, faster. Today, the last 2 days, it's just kind of been like, oh, turn here, side roads and meandering kind of driving and looping back on ourselves. Today, I'm taking them to a town in Colorado that they've never been to, um, and we'll have some lunch out there somewhere. It's supposed to be like close to 100 degrees down here, so getting up into the mountains is nice. But it's a Saturday, the weekend, the traffic will be a little heavier, so we're going to just stick to a main road and kind of get into really central Colorado, but south of some of the stuff they've been to as often. Show them a little different stuff than Front Range, and um, make some new memories, getting some dinner, and then we'll probably come back here. And then tomorrow, this is why I figured I'd get a quick check-in video. I may do another one of about the same length tomorrow because I think we're gonna just chill. It's we've Monday we kick off and have our adventure in the Black Hills of South Dakota and meet up with the rest of my family and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be a fun kind of other trip. But while we've got this, I think Sunday we're just gonna kind of take it easy. We may go down and drive around in Denver a little bit, let them see in the city and all that, and maybe do something. I've got a restaurant up here I'd like to take them to, let them try it out and have a fun meal up here. But do a bit of grilling, maybe play some games or whatever inside because we've just by that point we'll have spent a bunch of time and we'll have a long drive on Monday to get where we're going. So it'll work out great, though. I think we've, barring disasters or anything like that, I think we're doing well. And man, I just wanted to comment here to you guys how much I appreciate the views, particularly here over in Twitch after that last stream. Troy obviously was good enough to drop in and say hi, even though he was on the road today. He's awesome. The rest of the clan, you guys need to hang out, and that's Berger and I'm trying to go CJ. I don't remember all of CJ's name off the top of my head, and I didn't go back and look at any of these, but CJ and Berger were awesome to come hang out, and I'd love to hear more from any of those trio what they had in terms of they were talking about a server and go and play in some Minecraft and just having a multiplayer hangout kind of party. So for you guys, thanks so much. All you've done, all the kind supporting comments and likes, and all the followers over on the YouTube side, bunch of views as well. I don't know. We've had a new subscriber in a few days over there, but it does keep growing a little bit. So don't worry, YouTubers. I appreciate all of you guys just as much. Y'all rock. But what we're gonna do today, or now for the last little bit here, we're gonna come harvest some of these crops, and to do so, at least for a few of them, we are going to use the C.J. Burgess Fortune. This was a request in the last video. We found a Fortune 3 librarian in a distant village. It was awesome. We got a bunch of great stuff, and I made this hoe and threw their two names on it combined because they seemed very, very fun in the chat. It was awesome to have everybody hanging out. So, I don't know. You get in here, stay awesome, and be a part of the chat. You might find that you got something in this world. And more so, as I'm sure Troy can attest, folks that are willing to put in the time and hang out and enjoy seeing where this world goes. I won't necessarily say, oh yeah, whatever you guys say I'm doing, but I'll oftentimes ask for your input. What do you think about this? Should I do it this way? Should I do something different? And here's where we're going to run into trouble. Kind of build up the world with you guys' input. So we'll try to keep that up a little bit as we go. But for the rest of you, I did just want to get something up for a VOD to reward everybody who's been sticking with those. Let you know the channel's Channel's here, alive and well. I'm thinking of all of you guys, and um, looking forward to getting back to long streams again. That's um, poten- wow, excuse me. I am very much over the COVID, but I've been doing like think of the road trips as kind of just streaming, right? Constantly talking with folks, pointing things out as we just drive around IRL. Um, so even though I feel awesome following the COVID stuff, uh, I get one or two of those a day. Just oh yeah, you know what? Body's still clearing out some of the leftover junk. Um, what we have not yet done is set up any kind of storage over here, and I kind of like to resist that because we're going to have the big fields, right? These are mainly decorative. We're just using them heavily right now um, while we go. So hopefully we can sit on what we have here, not get too overwhelmed. And then once the farm is laid out, we'll have storage for all the crops and if we have extra seeds or whatever coming out of um, some of those little garden terraced fields, we'll just add them to what we've got, but not have that stored indoors. All right, main thing we need to do to wrap this up is replace our axes. We use those up efficiently. And here we go. Now, of course, the next thing that we're really going to need is going to be shovels, not axes, because we're going to have a bunch of digging to do in the next stream. So let's go ahead and just make the four. We'll use them all up. We'll probably use some picks as well. And put that away. I'll put this iron sword down in the boat chest. Just so we have it there. We'll leave it. Oh, these are all pretty beat up. You know what? We got just another minute or two. Could have a few more than that, but I don't mind. I don't mind being a little bit short because I got just a couple more hours here to hang out. All right, here, and we can do this, and may as well. I don't think we need this axe because we just cut all the trees, right? So we'll come down here and we will just store one each of all of these. That just it's nice to have those ready to go as reserves in the boat chest, uh, so I don't forget, right? Because the worst thing is you're out in the middle of the world, your pick breaks, and you're like, oh, I got one in the boat, and then you're like, oh, but it's all beat up, and we only get like 4 swings out of it. Could still make a difference, but better to have those fully ready replacements, not ones we're likely to use up right away. All right, well, there we go. Our inventory is reset. What we haven't done is to blow our horn. I think that's why that water bucket was there. Yeah, there we go. He likes it when we do this. We haven't really named our farmer yet either. I would call you Fred, except that we had a farmer Fred and it didn't work out well for him. So I don't know. We'll come up with a name for you someday, dude. Wait, did I do potatoes? while I was farming, or did I just skip over those? And where? There's my hoe. Oh, now it's bedtime. Come on. It may not have been ready. I can't remember, honestly. But I don't know that we even. Oh, watch this. Yeah, we even came over here. So potatoes and carrots really are going to do well with us having this hoe. For the wheat and you probably noticed it most with the beets, right? Because we had 50 some. We completely filled up that little plot um, with just the like 8 to 10 or whatever were ready to be picked there. And we did that with the fortune hoe, so we got a bunch of seeds. You don't get any more beets, and you don't get extra wheat when you do those two, but you do get a bunch more seeds. And then from here, what we had said was we're not going to trade potatoes until we have 4 full stacks of potatoes either. Same, beet seeds, he doesn't want to buy them anyway, but we're not going to process those. Wheat seeds, we have a few. I'm not too worried there. And carrots, melons, we're pretty close to a full row, and that will turn us up pretty quick. So the pumpkins are tough to deal with, but right now, since we spent all our emeralds and got these couple of extra fortune books, I think we'll probably sit pretty tight there. What we may do is continue to trade a little bit of wheat when he's interested in it, just to have a few emeralds in case um, the wandering trader comes by. Getting slime from him. There's just a couple items that are still always nice. And we did get one wandering trader. We took his leads, which helped us quite a bit, so that we could get those 2 skelly horses and keep them contained. But having a bunch of leads would be very helpful too. So anyway, going forward, our plans for the world and all that. Right now, when I can check in and fill in with you guys on what I've been up to. And by the way, Troy dropped in and said hi, couldn't chat. I'd love to hear from you guys too. If you're lurking today, I'm about to say goodbye, so kind of missed the chance. But if you see that I'm going live, you're lurking and want to check in, I'd love to hear what you guys are up to too. That's a part of the cool bit of Twitch, is getting to know what folks are up to, how they're enjoying their summers, all that kind of stuff. So drop in, say hi. Again, sometime tomorrow, there's a chance that I'll have this opportunity again. Um, no shot Monday. I don't know. I'll see how the loading of everything is going and what we do. With our window for me to hang out with the whole family and everything is going to be pretty tight. So while I'm up there with everybody, I don't know that I'm really going to try to check in. It's just I don't get that many chances to hang out with all of my family together like that. So those are pretty special. Now, if everybody's scattering and I've got some downtime or whatever, sure, I'll probably bring the headset and the laptop and everything. And if I can get some good hotel Wi-Fi or whatever, I'd love to drop in and say hi and all that kind of stuff. But for now, and as always, I'm going to wrap it up here. You guys rock. Thanks so much for checking by, saying hi. If you just wandered across this stream, you saw me tweet out that I was going, or otherwise got tracked down by Troy or CJ or Berger or Bobby God or Ant or Hydro, all the friends of the channel. Thanks so much for coming. You guys can all be folks that pop into my head as familiar names of returning visitors and all that by just coming around and saying hello. If you haven't already on Twitch, that means hitting the follow button. That'll let you know when I go live in the app itself. Um, you'll also be able to come in and chat. So all good stuff there. Um, Over on YouTube, if you're watching these videos, I definitely recommend that you hit the subscribe button. You'll know when all the latest and greatest live stuff comes up. Normally, that's pretty reliably every day. However, with this vacation stuff, maybe another one sometime prior to next weekend, and then we'll get back at the everyday 4 hours longer videos and adventuring and turning this world into something awesome. So stick around, stay awesome out there in the real world. Get outside. Oh man, nature's amazing, and I'm loving it right now. So go find out what's beautiful around your place, even if it's become routine. Take somebody who maybe if there's a little local park or something, take them along to check it out, and or just say, hey, you want to go for a little walk with me? Let's go see some of my spots that I haven't been. Share what makes them cool to you. See if they connect as well. It's so much fun. So anyway, I'm off to do a little bit more of that. You guys have a great Saturday. Enjoy your weekends. We will be back as soon as we possibly can, and I can't wait to see you guys when we are. Uh, that's going to do it. I am going to get back over here and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take care. Bye now.